All right, so this is our bobbin holder. So this is for doing corner to corner graph gands. If you're doing any kind of color change in a row, it allows you to be able to put up to 20 pegs and with 20 cylinders. You would wrap your yarn around the cylinder itself, which allows it to spin while you crochet. So I'm going to briefly show how I wind the yarn onto the bobbin, and then I'm going to show you actually how I crochet with the row and changing. So for me, I just hold the yarn here in place, wrap it around 1 or 2 times till it's secure, and then just continue to wrap the yarn around the bobbin. So depending on how many color changes you have, you can make the bobbins as large or as small as you want. The more colors you have, you might have to make them more on the narrow side, and then wider if you have less. So once you have it wound up to what you want, you would then just cut the yarn there and then insert it over the peg, which you have inserted first, and then you slide that over top, and that becomes your bobbin. So when you're actually crocheting the blanket, I have one that I'm in the process of. So going by the pattern, I'm going to crochet this row all the way across, and then what I'm going to do is actually turn it so you can see how, while you're crocheting, how you turn the work, turning the bobbin holder, and having everything line up straight when you flip it over. So at this point, finishing up the white, and we're going to be joining in with the next color. So we drop the white, we pick up the new color that we're joining, and you can join from the front or the back depending on whatever's easier for you. So that's just personal preference, and you just continue right around. So you'll just do as many colors as the next one calls for, and then we've dropped that yarn behind. So we're going to then pick that back up when we come back the other direction. Okay, so now that I've gotten to the end of the row, now it's time to turn the work and the bobbin holder. So the easiest way to do this is starting with your work. What I do is reach my hand under all of my strands of yarn to my last one that we're going to start the next row with, and I flip it under. So for the time being, you have yarn that's all crisscrossed. So now that you've done that, and now you have your beginning working yarn where you're supposed to be, I then pick up the yarn that's twisted, and you'll see how you have all this yarn in this one strand underneath. And then all you do is lift them over, turn your board, and then sometimes all you just have to do is just pull the yarn over, and everything lines exactly straight up the way it's supposed to. There are the times that when you go to do this and one of them becomes twisted. It doesn't happen frequently, but there are rare occasions that happens. The best thing about this setup is that you can easily just take it off and switch it over if they become twisted. I found that there's no left or right to really turning it. For me, I'm left-handed, and maybe that's why I do it the way I do, but going underneath all of the strands and grabbing that first strand and this side of the blanket and going under, and then when I get that, it will automatically kind of tell you which way your board has to go because of the way it's twisted. So as long as you do one first and then do the other, I found that flipping the blanket first or flipping your work first is easier than flipping the board first. So that's pretty much how it works. It's very simple. It makes color changing easy, and the ability to be able to move these means you can have one sitting behind if you say you even have to fill them all up, they'll line up and you don't have none of them will ever be directly behind the other. So they'll always be staggered. So you can work with 20 different color changes at any one given time. And then if you also can, you know, get the extra cylinders if you have 2 works going on like I do, and have some sitting on the extra set, and you can trade them in and out for whatever blanket that you're working with because they're easily exchanged out. So that's all.